For further ado, you know why you're all here. You're here to see a man who is inspirational. Because this is what Planet 2010 is about. It's about inspiration. A good idea starts with inspiration. You want to develop an amazing product, you've got to have that inspirational idea first, and you've got to follow it. This man is no different. I mean, most of us in this room, I've barely travelled to Invercargill, let alone gone to space, you know. And this man who's coming to talk to you is an inspirational person. He's achieved so much outside of the one amazing event that he's known for, and it is such a pleasure to have him here today. We're so lucky. I've seen a few of his media appearances. He's a character, and he definitely is an inspirational person. So ladies and gentlemen, please start putting your hands together. Please welcome to the stage, Buzz Aldrin!
West Point in 1951 and served in the Air Force as a fighter pilot. He flew 66 combat missions in Korea, shooting down 2 MiG-15s. After the war, Buzz earned his doctorate from MIT in manned space rendezvous techniques. In October 1963, he was chosen by NASA to be one of the early astronauts in the Gemini program, testbed for the future Apollo missions to the moon. On November 11, 1966, Buzz made a historic flight with Jim Lovell aboard Gemini 12. Aldrin ventured outside the spacecraft to practice the demanding tasks of walking and working in space. Buzz completed the Gemini mission with a record-setting 5 hours, 32 minutes of extravehicular activity. The mission was an unqualified success, which advanced the United States in the race for the moon. That race entered the home stretch on the morning of July 16, 1969.
And it's just minutes to the historic launch of the Apollo 11, with all going well. Astronauts Armstrong, Collins, and Aldrin sitting there atop the great Saturn rocket in their command module, getting ready for launch. Here's Jack King in launch control.
Coming on the Apollo mission, the flight to land, first men on the moon. 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
With 7.5 million pounds of thrust behind them, the Apollo 11 astronauts left the bonds of Earth and began a 248,000-mile journey to the moon. In lunar orbit, Aldrin and Armstrong separated from Collins and rode the lunar module, the Eagle, to its landing site in the Sea of Tranquility. On the approach, Aldrin and Armstrong saw that the Eagle's computer guidance system was mistakenly leading the ship to landing in a treacherous rock-filled crater. Armstrong took the flight controls, and with Buzz Aldrin calling out radar altimeter and forward speed readings, they manually flew the Eagle to a safe landing.
30 seconds.
The ship touched down with only 10 seconds of fuel remaining.
Houston, tranquility base here. The Eagle has landed.
After taking a series of photos and a soil sample, Armstrong welcomed Buzz Aldrin to the moon. Aldrin gave the world its first heartfelt laughter of relief after days of worry when he made this quip about closing the door of the lunar module.
Back up and partially pull it back. Making sure not to lock it on my way out. Pickling is good. That's our home for the next couple hours. We want to take good care of them.
Buzz Aldrin and his colleagues used their precious little time on the moon to plant the flag, set up numerous experiments and hardware, take still photographs, and accept the longest long-distance phone call ever from President Richard Nixon. After leaving Tranquility Base, Buzz and Neil rendezvoused with Mike Collins, still waiting in Command Module Columbia. Astronauts and cargo were transferred to Columbia, and the Eagle was abandoned and left in lunar orbit as the Apollo 11 crew began their long voyage home. After the fiery re-entry and splashdown in the Pacific, Buzz Aldrin entered a biological quarantine unit with his colleagues. Upon their release, Buzz embarked on a worldwide goodwill tour with them. He was presented the Presidential Medal of Freedom and nearly 50 other honors from the United States and foreign countries. Buzz Aldrin's footprints will remain on the surface of the moon for 500,000 years. His name will be in history's record as long as the human race exists. Buzz Aldrin, an American hero who has traveled beyond the bounds of Earth on a voyage to the winner's circle.